A lot of people don't find their passion until later on years when they try a lot of things. But you actually, I think it was 9 years old, 11 years old, you read, you asked if you could read the entire psychology section of the library. And they, now, people think you're crazy that are, come on,
I read the whole department of the library in my town. I read all the children's books by the time I was 11 and a half, so I was interested in psychology, so they gave me permission to go upstairs and read the psychology department. And it was a passionate interest of mine because I was writing papers on psychology. I had no sophistication, but you know, when I look about Barry now, I went to Seton Hall University, and I have never said this publicly, but I guess I don't mean this egotistic, but I look back and you know, it was neat. The head of the department was Professor Murphy, and here I'm a student, and he was having me teach some of the courses.
That's great.
It was kind of
great confidence.
And he had me talk about hypnosis and the power of the mind, and you know what's interesting about all these books, if you go to the 130 stack in the public libraries, 130 is all positive thinking. Starting with Bristol's TNT and the Magic of Believing, which at one point Liberace had a cover. They had a special cover one season for him because the book changed his life. Then Phyllis Diller, who talks today about positive thinking, she'll lecture about positive thinking. And then even before that, a man whom I got to know very well, his wife still corresponds with the late Norman Vincent Peale.
Right, big fan of yours. Right?
And all of these people got interested in positive thinking by observing hypnotism and thinking, wait a minute, there can't be any magic there. This has got to be within the person. And, you know, even going back to the good book, you know, as one thinks and believes, so it comes about. In many, many ways it's been said.
You know, one thing that you told me, one thing, I remember this clearly, is I want to leave the viewers out there something that they can listen to what you have to say and say, you know what, I can do this in my own life. Because obviously there's certain things where you've done your whole life, you've created a foundation that you just can't do overnight. It's impossible.
No, nothing happens overnight.
Exactly. Now, what is it, one thing you can share the audience, with the audience about, you talk about listening or the power of focus and what you can do to, just typical, every day you're doing something, how to be a better listener, how to be a better communicator.
I'll tell you how to be a better communicator and listener. One of the things that we should learn to do, and everyone listening in should try this, and probably most people have never thought of it and thought, oh my God, I never thought. When you're with someone, either business-wise or a friend or a loved one, listen to how they think. Because if you talk to them in their language, you will touch them more deeply. Now listen to what I've just said. Listen to how they think so that you speak the same language. You say, well, I speak English. Yes, but words mean different things to different people. And we think differently. Many people think in their most profound ways in terms of visualness. Anytime they think about something important in their life, they see it in pictures. Gee, that was a wonderful, I love the color of the trees. I love the way the sky was. Other people think in terms of sound. They'll say, you know, that was wonderful being there. You could hear the birds. You could hear the leaves. Same scene, but they're thinking in terms of auditory ways. When they talk about themselves, they'll say, you know, that sounds right to me. Other people will say, gee, that looks good. If you suddenly realize that this person tends to think visually or this person tends to think auditorily, and you talk to them when you want to communicate best in terms of the sounds.
In their shoes.
You walk in their shoes, you will touch them more deeply. And
excellent
I've
point.
Talked to heads of corporations that said, my God, I've taken all these seminars. I never realized a basic part of communication.
I've been selling all my life, and nobody ever listened themselves out of a sale, right?
Yeah, and one of the most important things is that we do learn to listen. We're afraid of silence today. Most of the Western world is afraid of silence because we've grown up with either the radio on, the television on. People jog with earphones. Damn it! Listen to the sound around us of nature and the wind and what have you. So when you're with someone, if you're really comfortable with them, once in a while, don't converse. They'll talk to you sometimes more effectively. You don't have to be a telepathist or a thought reader. My life is based on figuring out and sensing what people think. But if you pay attention to silence, you'll suddenly find that you're thinking the way they are.
Is it what you say amazing? He's the man. We'll be right back after this. Don't go away.